Good morning, Buc-ee's. I want to thank Beaver for hosting us here for today's announcement. And I mean, honestly, is there not everything you could want to be right here in Buc-ee's when you stop by? It's pretty incredible. And I also, I came in today, and as we were coming in, I said, I'm going to get some stuff. I usually bring stuff home for my kids. The problem is today's Madison's birthday, so she's already going to have a birthday cake, so I don't think I can do any more sugar. So no treats, but I was able to get our birthday candles for tonight for our 5th birthday, so we're excited about doing that. It just seems like whatever you need, Buc-ee's is going to end up having it. So I want to thank Buc-ee's for hosting us. We also have Kevin Tebow from the Florida Department of Transportation here, and then we've got a lot of other folks here. We have Frank and Bud Severino from Daytona Beach, Stacy Cunningham Welch, owner of Cunningham Oil. Is Steve Hasher from Wawa here? Are you here? Steve Hasher from Wawa. You know, Wawa, they now do burgers. You guys have been doing burgers now for a few months, right?
Very good.
Yeah. So, like, they have all the sandwiches, and now they have burgers, which is pretty neat. We got Representatives Federhoff and Webster Barnaby, and we have Senator Tom Wright. Tom Wright has probably been to more of my press conferences than any member of the legislature, more than the leadership even, because he's involved in so many different things. But we're happy to be here. We're not as happy at seeing what's happening with a lot of the inflation that's going on in the economy. If you look, for example, for Thanksgiving, the price of a Thanksgiving dinner is up over 20% just over last year. People are seeing it, all kinds of things that they're having to buy. The prices are going up. So even if you start making more money, if the prices are going up faster than your job, than your wages or your salaries going up, you're actually losing ground in this inflationary economy. And so we think this is a huge problem for working families in Florida. Really, it hits everybody, but it particularly hits people, blue-collar people, people on fixed income. And we've told Biden said that this was not real 6 months ago, that no serious person thought inflation was real. And actually, we now know this is real. We knew then, I said it then, but now everyone acknowledges this is really, really serious. And so how is this hitting people? It's hitting people in a variety of ways, but I think the thing that's been most dramatic for most people, because they deal with this in their everyday lives, is how much gas prices have gone up. You look, if we were sitting here a year ago in Daytona, you could get a gallon of gas. Now it's $3.34. It's $1.31 more than it was a year ago today, just right here. And that's really true throughout the rest of the country. People are having to pay a lot more for gas. And if you think about it, people commuting to work, people having to take care of their kids, do all this stuff. It isn't like you just can't get around anymore and just stop doing the basic things of life. So that's a cost that really gets imposed on a lot of people who are working hard, and this has a huge impact. And so we looked at that, and that's something we're very concerned about. I mentioned a few weeks back we are going to do something about it, and so we're going to announce that in a second. But you know what exacerbates this is these problems with the supply chain. You got all these ships sitting off the coast of California. You know, they used to not even do 24/7. Our ports do 24/7. I mean, we want to do this. We want to get the goods to market. We've rerouted ships from Savannah to Jacksonville, for example, that were waiting off there. And it's a huge problem. You're starting to see more and more problems with that. That contributes to the inflation because you don't have as many goods to market, and so the costs end up going up. And I just wonder, with all these inflationary pressures, you're printing more money is what they're doing. That's not going to help inflation. That's going to exacerbate inflation, and it's a really, really big problem. So Florida has said our ports are open. We absolutely want to have more people bringing in goods here, and if they're sitting idle elsewhere, just reroute to Florida, and we'll make it happen, and we want to do our best to be able to do that. But the gas prices, I think, have been the most noticeable, and so we look to see what we can do. Obviously, this is being driven by inflationary policies out of Washington. It's not something that's, Florida's obviously not causing this. It's happening all across the country. But what could we do to make an impact? And so we've been working on it. We looked at maybe toll relief, maybe this. We're like, you know what? We need to really just focus on gas prices as best we can. So what we're going to be proposing in the next legislative session is over $1 billion in gas tax relief for Florida families. And that's going to make a big, big difference. The average family over a 5 or 6 month period, could save up to $200. And we think it's basically Florida. There's a whole bunch of things that go into the price of gas. There's different taxes, federal, state, local level. We're taking over 25 cents from Florida, and we'll basically zero that out for as long as we can and do over $1 billion. That's going to make a huge, huge deal. We're in great financial shape. We have surpluses. We have the ability to do what we need to do from a standpoint of infrastructure. And so we have folks that are getting hammered by the rising gas prices. And so we're here to do something about it. So we look forward to being able to work through this with the legislature. We've always been very strong on tax relief in Florida. We did things like sportsman's relief. We've done back to school. We've done all that stuff, and that's good. But this is, I think, really, really big to be able to help people. If gas were $1.50 a gallon, maybe it wouldn't be something that would be as meaningful. But now when it's over $3.30, and it may even end up much higher than that, over the next year, the way things are going. Hopefully not. But that's when you're begging OPEC to do more gas, that's what you don't want to do. We were supposed to be energy independent here in the United States, and they're backing away from that. We should be able to produce what we want here and not have to worry about OPEC. So we're here to offer relief to Florida families. We think it's something that's going to make a big, big difference. And I asked Beaver, when we were thinking about this, I was like, look, this is great. I'm all for it. But if we were to do this and say take away, this part of the Florida tax, would you guys actually lower the price, or would the price be the same? And Beaver said, I would absolutely lower the price. I mean, obviously it's smart because you want to be able to get folks here. And so there's a lot that goes into this. Obviously, supply, demand globally. There's a whole bunch of stuff. But here in Florida, we have companies like Buc-ee's, like Wawa, like these stores, and they are absolutely committed to reducing the price when we end up enacting this. And so that's really what makes a difference. And so I'm really happy that that's being done. And quite frankly, I mean, it's the right thing to do, but it's also smart. A place like Buc-ee's, the more people that come in here, they're not just buying gas, they're buying all this other stuff when there's a lot here to be able to do. So that's really, really good. So I want Beaver to come up. We'll hear from a couple other folks. But this is exciting. We've got to fight back against this inflation. Obviously, I'd like them to reverse course on some of these policies that are causing it, but I'm not holding my breath on that to see D.C. But I do think Florida can come and provide some relief for Florida families. So that's what we're looking to do. Beaver, come on up here.
Thank you, Governor, and thank everyone for coming out today. This is really a big deal. The governor called me several weeks ago, and he had this concept, this idea about lowering the state gas tax. And as he said, he asked the question, and I just thought it was a phenomenal idea. Inflation is real. It's here. There's no question about it. And gasoline is one of the big ticket items that hits everybody on a daily basis. And so his question was just that. What will happen? Will it make it to the market? And, the governor told you what I said. Buc-ee's will absolutely commit. If this, in fact, happens and they lower the tax, the day they lower it, we'll roll back the pumps, the entire 25 cents instantly. And I'm quite certain that our friends and other great business operators, Wawa, I'm quite certain that everyone here will do it, Wawa as well, and most of the companies. So this is going to make it right back to the customer, and it'll happen instantly as soon as y'all get it done, and we're happy to be part of it.
All right.
Thank you.
Can you, this store opened in Florida this year. You opened one in St. Augustine. I know you're big in Texas. How's the Florida market treating you, and how's the business going here?
Florida market, Florida customers are wonderful. This is a very, very business-friendly state. I come from Texas, which is business-friendly. And this is probably one of our favorite places we've ever done business in. Customers are incredible, and just can't say enough. We're very happy about Florida, and we're trying to find more.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I told them, I said, I mean, like if you put one like in the panhandle off I-10, people coming in, because, you know, people are absolutely flooding 30A and all that stuff, like they're totally booming. And I think if you put one in on that drive, I mean, I think people would go absolutely crazy. And it's interesting, you see Buc-ee's, Wawa. I don't know how many Wawa I've been to, but I've been to a lot. I can tell you they're building a lot in Florida, too, as I think we have a really good market, and they're doing well. Okay, Stacey Cunningham Welch is here. Why don't you come up and say a few things?
Good morning, everybody. I just want to personally thank Governor DeSantis on behalf of Cunningham. My business has over 30 of a fleet, and every day that's going to make a big impact on us going out there. So thank you very much for the tax relief.
Okay.
Appreciate it very much.
Appreciate it. Okay, we have Kevin Tebow, FDOT Secretary.
Thanks, Governor. Again, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your investment that he's done in our infrastructure. This is not going to stop. We're going to continue to invest in our infrastructure. You've heard us, and you heard him talking about the port. We've invested not only in our ports, but in our other modes of transportation, and it will continue. We have a growth state. We have a lot of challenges, but with his leadership, you think about what he's doing here. Not only are we investing in infrastructure, but he's thinking about the families. And this is very, very important for all of us. So, again, thank you, Governor, for your leadership.
Okay. So we're excited about this. I think if you look at what we just accomplished, where we provided protections for Floridians so they wouldn't lose their job because of these mandates, and what we found out, not only are people's jobs being saved now at many companies, some businesses and companies are actually rehiring people that they had let go over these mandates. And so it's actually doing even more than we had anticipated, which is a really, really good thing. And the more jobs we're able to save, keep people employed, keep letting them put food on their table, hiring them back, you know, that's a huge, huge thing. So that was it's great news, and I want to thank the legislature. I know they want to work with us on gas tax relief. So if you look at some of the things that we've talked about doing, this is obviously going to be a major thing. We've talked about replacing the FSA in our K-12 schools. We're going to do progress monitoring. That's a huge, huge deal in terms of what we're doing. I mentioned earlier in the year, I talked about the signing bonuses we're going to do for new law enforcement, either coming from out of state or young people joining. We're going to have another announcement about that after Thanksgiving, because we're going to even do more to support the men and women of law enforcement, and that's going to be something that's really, really meaningful. So you look across the board, we're going to be very, very busy. We're going to be doing an awful lot, and I'm just excited that gas tax relief is going to be a big part of what we need to do going forward in this state to try to help people. We want to protect Floridians as much as we can against the inflation that we're seeing. And I'm proud of everything we've been able to accomplish. People know Florida's the place to be. We have great business. We have a great climate. We've got great people. But, man, you know, this inflation is real, and we need to do something about it. So that's what we're going to do with the gas tax, and I'm really excited to be able to announce that here today, and I'm confident we're going to be able to get it done. Okay, with that, anybody have any questions out in Rio Linda? Yes.
You said the Beaver will be glad to lower the gas prices. Well, how are you making sure that other gas stations, I mean, they might not be as nice as the Beaver?
So that's a good question. So the question is how do you know that most of the companies are going to do this? Well, what I would say is a couple things. One, we actually reached out and talked to a bunch of them. You know, we talked to, of course, Buc-ee's. We talked to Wawa. We talked to Racetrack. We talked to Daly's, Gate, a bunch of them throughout the state of Florida, and they all said yes, absolutely. And I think the reason is it makes financial sense for them because they make a lot of money when people come into their store and buy things. I'm one of them. I mean, I buy so much stuff when I go into the gas station. I know probably half the Wawa employees. I know a lot of the Buc-ee's, because we come here and we buy things. And so I think that that's what they're going to do. It's also a very competitive market. I mean, you know, if a Buc-ee's is lowering the price and someone across the street is not, well, guess what? He's got almost 100 gas pumps out there. People are going to come here to be able to save, because, you know, you fill up a tank, if you're saving 25 cents a gallon, you know, that's a pretty good savings. So I'm confident that people understand it's a good idea and that the consumer will see some relief. Now, one of the things that is just something that may happen is, you know, we're at $3.34 a gallon now, but it could increase from here given what's going on in the overall economy. And so by the time we do this, I mean, I'm hoping it goes down anyways, but I think most people are looking at this saying that these prices are probably going to be high for a while. So whatever that price is, then that's where you'll take the gas tax relief out of whatever the price is at the time that this goes into effect. Well, you know, that's what you guys have opportunities to vote every 2 or 4 years. Yes, sir.
You're going to reduce state gas taxes by $1 billion, and we have a dire need, especially right here in Daytona Beach, right here in the LPG area, for more roads.
We will fully fund the work program, 100%. And in fact, we probably may even end up having more going in the work program. I mean, we have the resources to be able to meet needs and to be able to do. I would say the one thing that is just an issue, because you're seeing it throughout the economy, the inflation hurts us too in the state level, because this stuff becomes more expensive. It's harder to get contractors that can do it, because they're stretched thin in terms of what they're doing. But in terms of having the resources, we have the resources. And so we'll make sure, you know, I said we're going to do the budget probably the first or second week of December, whenever, right before it's due. And you will see a fully funded work program, and we'll make sure we do that.
That will include more money for roads?
That will include, well, we'll fully fund. I mean, Kevin can talk about, you know, we didn't miss a beat last year, and in fact, we probably were able to accelerate things. So we're going to continue to do that. It's very, very important. And if you look, we had great announcements about what we were doing in the Tampa Bay area with some huge projects, and we're going to see those all over the state. So we continue with that. We're doing infrastructure, not just roads, including roads, also the water resources, all that. That's what happens when you have, I mean, we probably have never had such strong reserves in the history of the state. So we have the ability to provide relief for people, and I don't think we're going to miss a beat.